Dragon Ball has one big problem. They don't actually use the Dragon Balls the way they logically could. I made a video before explaining how the Z Fighters could have handled the Namek Saga differently, and a lot of people roasted me in the comments and called me stupid, but I think people misunderstood my point. My argument was never that Dragon Ball is bad. My point was that, ironically, the Dragon Balls themselves create one of the biggest problems in the story. They are so powerful that if the characters used them creatively, they could solve almost any situation. Yes, the Dragon Balls have rules. I understand that. But those rules are sometimes very loose and leave a lot of room for creative wishes. The problem is the characters usually don't take advantage of all their options. For example, I argued that the Z Fighters could have survived Namek much easier by using the Dragon Balls strategically. People responded by saying that wouldn't work because the Dragon Balls can't affect someone stronger than their creator. But that's not exactly my argument. You don't need to directly affect Frieza. You just need to be creative. You could revive Piccolo, move everyone away from Namek, and leave Frieza stranded. Even if Frieza survives in space, you could use the Earth Dragon Balls to move Earth somewhere Frieza cannot find. And before people say that's impossible, we already know moving planets is something Dragon Balls can do. New Namek was hidden, which is why in Resurrection F, Frieza goes to Earth instead of attacking the Namekians again. He doesn't know where New Namek is. That's my main point. The Dragon Balls create a narrative problem. The writers have to make the characters avoid certain obvious solutions because otherwise there wouldn't be a story. If I were Akira Toriyama, I probably would have created harder limitations for the Dragon Balls because they are almost too powerful. They can make the characters look like they're ignoring obvious options, even though we know the real reason is that the story needs conflict. Another example is the future Trunks timeline. Why didn't they use the Dragon Balls to save Goku from the heart virus? People will say, the Dragon Balls can't revive someone who died from natural causes. And that is true, but my question is, why wait until he dies? Why not use the Dragon Balls while he is still alive and ask Shenron to heal him? And let's say for some reason Shenron cannot cure the heart virus. There are still other options. After the androids destroy everything and the Earth Dragon Balls disappear, why not search for New Namek? You're telling me building a time machine was easier than trying to find the Namekians and using their Dragon Balls? And when Trunks actually goes back into the past, there is another question. Why not use the Dragon Balls immediately? Instead of waiting 3 years for the androids to appear, they could have gathered the Dragon Balls and asked Shenron where Dr. Gero's laboratory was. They don't need Shenron to destroy the androids or kill Dr. Gero. They just need information. Finding a location is not the same thing as defeating someone stronger than the creator of the Dragon Balls. And once they know the location, destroy the lab before Android 17 and 18 are activated. Some people will say Goku and Vegeta would never allow that because they wanted to fight. And that's true. It fits their personalities. But my question is, why did everyone else agree? Why didn't Bulma, Krillin, Piccolo, or someone else secretly use the Dragon Balls and stop the problem? Bulma herself suggested finding Dr. Gero before the androids appeared. From a warrior's perspective, I understand why Goku and Vegeta wanted the challenge. But from a survival perspective, it was a terrible decision. Another question. Why didn't future Gohan and future Trunks use the Room of Spirit and Time? Why wasn't it available? The story never really gives us a clear answer. It feels like the characters forget about resources that already exist. And that is my point. The Z Fighters don't just underuse the Dragon Balls. Sometimes they underuse the tools, technology, and opportunities they already have. I understand why Dragon Ball needs conflict. If the characters solved every problem logically, we wouldn't have these amazing battles. But from an in-universe perspective, sometimes it feels like the characters are ignoring obvious solutions because the Dragon Balls are simply too powerful. Maybe the Dragon Balls should have had harder rules from the beginning, because ironically, the thing Dragon Ball is named after might be one of the hardest things to write around. Let me know what you think. Are the Dragon Balls too powerful for their own stories?